Attention, Steelers fans! We've just released some big news. Quarterback Russell Wilson is returning to practice, trying to put his calf injury in the past and reclaim his starting spot. But what about Fields? Will he stay in the position? That's what you're about to see, but that's not all. Roethlisberger couldn't hold back when he talked about a big mistake by Mike Tomlin. Without further ado, let's watch the video. Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson is set to ramp up his participation in practice, aiming to put his calf injury behind him and rejoin the team on the field. Head coach Mike Tomlin made it clear that Wilson needs to prove he's fully healthy before any decisions are made about his return to the starting lineup. Tomlin confirmed Wilson will increase his practice reps after being sidelined for the first 4 games, giving backup Justin Fields more opportunities to lead the offense. Fields, who has led the Steelers to a 3-1 start, will again be the starting QB this Sunday against the Cowboys. Tomlin emphasized that no decisions will be made about the quarterback situation until Wilson is fully practicing. There's a potential for that, but we're not there yet, Tomlin said regarding the possibility of Fields keeping the job. On the injury front, Tomlin is hopeful that guard Isaac Sumalo and linebacker Nick Herbig will be ready for Sunday, but linebacker Alex Highsmith will miss his second consecutive game due to a groin injury. Wilson hasn't started a game since last December for the Denver Broncos before being released in a contract dispute. He signed with Pittsburgh in March looking for a fresh start. Now tell me, does Justin Fields deserve to keep his starting spot after such a great start to the season? Comment below. And if you think this story is interesting, wait until you hear what Roethlisberger had to say about the game against the Colts and the controversial mistake that cost him the game. The Pittsburgh Steelers faced a tough battle on the road against the Indianapolis Colts, quickly falling into a 17-0 hole. Despite a strong second-half rally led by Justin Fields, a late-game miscue sealed their fate. A botched snap between Fields and the center ultimately ended their hopes of either tying or winning the game, even though the Steelers still had a chance at the end. After the bad snap, Fields managed to recover some yards by completing a pass to Najee Harris. However, Harris failed to get out of bounds, and despite the Steelers having a timeout, they chose not to use it. The rushed sequence that followed resulted in an incomplete pass, which ended their comeback attempt. Following the game, head coach Mike Tomlin was asked about his decision not to call a timeout in that critical moment. While some found his explanation reasonable, others weren't convinced, including Steelers legend Ben Roethlisberger. On his podcast, Footballin' with Ben Roethlisberger, the former quarterback shared his thoughts, saying he believed Tomlin should have used the timeout. Part of me understands why he didn't call a timeout because you want to try and save it for later down the drive. You're in 4th down, you have 1 play. You need to call your timeout. You've got to figure out your best play. You can't rush that play call, Roethlisberger explained. One key issue was Harris not getting out of bounds when he had the opportunity, which put Tomlin in a tough spot. Ideally, the timeout wouldn't have been necessary, but with the clock running, Roethlisberger felt it should have been used right away. That play is too important to rush it, he added. While he understood that Tomlin didn't want to give the Colts defense time to prepare, Roethlisberger still believed using the timeout was the right call. Even if the timeout had been called, there was no guarantee that the Steelers would have converted the first down. But with momentum on their side before the botched snap, it looked like Pittsburgh had a real shot at tying or even taking the lead. Unfortunately, the mishap proved too costly. Looking ahead, the Steelers will try to rebound after their first loss of the 2024 season. Their next challenge comes against the Dallas Cowboys at home in Week 5. After a disappointing performance from a defense that had been the league's best until the Colts game, Pittsburgh will be aiming for a much stronger showing under the lights on Sunday night. Look, I'll be blunt. That end of the game against the Colts was so frustrating. I understand the pressure of the moment, but how can you not use a timeout in a situation like that? Everything was under control until the mistake that, unfortunately, cost them the victory. If the Steelers want to be contenders, they have to get these details right. Now, click on the video that will appear on the screen to see more about this crucial matchup.